Hello everyone, welcome to StudyIQ English. Well, the war in West Asia has raised another interesting question. People are asking who has won the war? Is there a possibility that US or Iran, there is any one winner in times to come? Who will lose this war? Well, no one has an answer because the war seems to be, although asymmetric, but it seems to be just continuing, and that too with full rigor, with full aggression. As I'm doing this video, there has been another news just right now that US has dropped 5,000 pounds bunker buster bomb on Iranian missile sites. But if you look at what Iran has been doing, earlier the saturation strategy, that means overwhelm enemies' missile interceptor systems by continuously launching ballistic missiles and cheap drones. And then yesterday, a big shift from Shahab missile to finally the Sejal 2 missile, that's the new dancing missile, capable of carrying multiple warheads, capable of doing a massive destruction over a much wider area. There are civilian casualties that are happening. At the same time, none of these countries is ready to surrender. US wants Iran to absolutely give up, to agree on the terms and conditions of US, but Iran says no, we shall continue the war till the last man stands, and therefore there is no winner, there is no loser. But one thing is very clear: the impact that this war is having for the civilian population is disastrous. The impact that it is having on global oil and energy security is again very, very disastrous. So therefore, the war continues. People pay the price, not just in whole West Asia, also up to South Asia. But there is no end to the war, at least as of now. So what has been happening? We know this is an asymmetric warfare. Why? Because although if you talk about arms, if you talk about weapons, you might agree that US and Israel are stronger in terms of military. They have a more sophisticated weapon system. We have done a detailed discussion on systems like the Patriot system, like the THAAD system. All these are very advanced missile interceptors, quite expensive. And if you look at Iran, Iran is now launching the asymmetric warfare because Iran says no matter how much you intercept, we shall continue to overwhelm you. This is the saturation strategy. So there are two strategies that Iran is using. One, saturation strategy. I will continue to shoot cheap drones and missiles, and let's see how much do you control. After all, one day your expensive interceptor systems will start becoming deficit. Second, Iran also says that I will continue to finance my axis of resistance, and you know that Iran is a country who does not have an active supporter in the war. Now, countries like China, countries like North Korea, with whom Iran has had a great partnership in terms of missile development technology, and even Russia, these have been supporting Iranian cause, but not directly. None of them have participated in the war against US. They only gave verbal support. But Iran has been able to launch attacks on US and Israel, their military infrastructure, air bases, with the help of axis of resistance. Who are these people? Well, spread across West Asia, if you talk about Lebanon, there is the South Lebanon Hezbollah. If you look at Iraq, then there is militia. If you look at Yemen, then in Yemen you have Houthi rebels. At the same time, if you look at Palestinian area, you have the Hamas, and all these will support Iran. They are trying to avenge the death of Mr. Khamenei, the injuring of Mr. Mujtaba Khamenei, and therefore all these together are continuously fighting with Israel. So therefore, these are two strategies of Iran. Axis of resistance, continue to attack military bases and air bases of America in West Asia. That means now most countries are a part of the war already. Even countries who were quiet, countries who were neutral, like Cyprus, like for example Lebanon, or even Oman for that matter today. Okay, and the second thing is saturation war strategy. So it is a test of weapon power versus endurance. That's what the war is happening about, and today it's very difficult to predict who is going to be the victorious party in this ongoing war. If you look at the goals, targets of US and Israel, well, nobody is even clear what's the target about. Last year, both the countries again had a war that was called the 12-day war, in which Iran did not retaliate much. In fact, Iran kept on saying that I have signed the JCPOA agreement back in 2015. with the 5 permanent members of United Nations Security Council and Germany. Iran says, I am a part of nuclear non-proliferation treaty and my all uranium enrichment sites are open to be inspected by IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency. Why then should I be attacked? But US unconditionally, unilaterally walked out of JCPOA in 2018, and since then Mr. Trump has been behind Iranian ballistic missile and nuclear enrichment, uranium enrichment program. So last year in 2025, it was US plus Israel which continued to attack all the nuclear infrastructure of Iran. The sites that were attacked were Ishfaya. It was Fardao, the underground nuclear facility, Natanz. All these were not left. They were not spared. But Iran did not do an active retaliation that time. But this time things became uncontrollable as US not only continued airstrikes but also finally terminated, killed the top supreme leader of Iran, Mr. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. And till date, there are senior military leaders, senior political leaders from Iran who are now becoming victims of the war. So finally, Iran fights back. Yes. So what is it that US and Israel want? Last year, it seemed like they just want Iran to stop its uranium enrichment, which Iran said, I will control. I have already promised under JCPOA, we can have a fresh negotiation as well. In fact, in Geneva in Switzerland, Oman started mediating between US and Iran, but to no use, because on the one hand, US was doing a mediation. On the other hand, it already started with its airstrikes on Iran, its critical infrastructure. That's how it began. So initially, it was the agenda of stopping Iran's uranium enrichment. Today, the agenda is regime change. US wants to remove the theocracy from Iran and then supplement it with a puppet government that is sponsored from US. Example, Mr. Reza Pahlavi. His name was being spoken about as the next new leader. Although Iranians have held on. They say, no, we are not surrendering and we will support the new supreme leader. That's Mr. Mujtaba, despite the fact that he's injured right now. But soon they are saying we will continue to give a good reply to US in the war. So is this what US wants? Through its strategy like decapitulation, kill the top leadership. Similarly, does US only want to destroy the nuclear power? Because ultimately, it is US which has given a commitment to all the Gulf countries, including Saudi Arabia, other Arabic countries, that we will protect you. They have been taken a security guarantee from US. Remember the Abraham Accords 2020, because of which Saudi Arabia even recognized Israel. So US says, I will protect you against Iran, but today where is US? When all these West Asian countries are getting attacked one after the other. That's the problem. So therefore, now slowly, the Gulf countries are also losing the trust they had in US once as a net security provider. And now what does US want from Iran? Nobody knows, because regime change will not be easy. People are showing a lot of solidarity. They are showing support towards theocracy. Quite ironical, because right before this war, there was an internal protest going on in Iran. The first such civil protest after 1979 Islamic Revolution. But now as the war started, people are consolidated. They are showing unity in the face of US attacks. So therefore, regime change is definitely not on the cards. Now talking about nuclear program, US is doing everything it possibly can. Just now, as I said, US is attacking with the bunker blaster bombing technology. At the same time, US recently attacked the Kharg Island, Iran's biggest oil export terminal. Before that, Qeshm Island, desalinization plant. So US is trying to debilitate Iran from all the sides, and it's not even leaving behind the civilians. So what's the conclusion? Can we say US succeeded in the war? Not really. This is only a partial success. Indeed, they have disturbed the entire political structure. Indeed, they are impacting the civilians and damaging Iran's nuclear sites, oil terminals, but still Iran is continuing owing to axis of resistance, solidarity, and asymmetric warfare strategy. What does Iran do today? Iran has also upgraded its program. I just told you, from Shahab missile to now Sejil-2 missile that are using a solid rocket fuel, that are much more stronger, and they do a much more widespread and stronger destruction at the enemy. So that's what Iran is doing. The dancing missile was used yesterday for the first time in the war, and leadership was replaced. If Mr. Ali Khamenei died in the war, he was replaced by his son, Mr. Mujtaba Khamenei. And even when Mr. Mujtaba is injured, Iran says, we will hold on, we are not giving up. Plus, Iran continues. Missile and cheap drone attacks. Affordable drone attacks. At the same time, Iran continues to target US military bases across the Gulf countries. A point is coming where the whole world is getting indirectly involved. Now, there are LPG, LNG and crude supplies that have been completely choked. Why? Because now Iran has retaliated by blocking the Strait of Hormuz, the key strategic choke point that you have seen between Oman, UAE and Iran on the right at the Persian Gulf. So that's what Iran has choked. That means 30% of global crude is under threat now. There is no supply chain happening, and this is called the long war strategy. It's also called the attrition strategy. Iran's aim is to survive the war. Even if Iran doesn't win the war against US, Iran wants to stay alive in the war. It wants to stay put in the war, and that's what it has clearly proven now. If you look at the global impact, it's terrible right now. No wonder yesterday Mr. Trump was requesting all the NATO allies as well as countries like India, China, Japan, Mexico, South Korea, all those who are dependent on the oil that comes from Hormuz, that you must go and force Iran to open the strait. But no country wants any military engagement anymore. No country wants that. So none of these countries sent their military and troops, but US still keeps attacking, and there was a very ridiculous statement issued from the US when US said that we may keep on attacking the Karg island of Iran, the largest oil terminal. Even if we lose the war, we will do massive destruction. So you see, there is always a negative fallout of such wars, because even if nobody wins the war, and tomorrow even if US withdraws from the war and Iran still holds on and tries to rebuild itself, the maximum loss is of the civilians. Whether it is school, whether it's a desalinization plant, or whether it's about general public buildings like hospitals or rehab centers, it is the people on the ground that are getting displaced and killed day after another. And there are countries like India and China who are now flogging to Russia. They are now going to Russia and they want oil supply from Russia, which US has also allowed for a period of 1 month. That means now we will buy Ural oil from Russia, even if it's expensive, because that's the only choice we have. And the world is trying to negotiate for alternative trade routes, and US is pressurizing Iran to open Hormuz. At the same time, global trade is severely debilitated. People are migrating. They are running out of Gulf area, a massive unemployment for them. Oil tankers from various countries and commercial ships are being attacked. Now, India in response has invoked Operation Sankalp, an initiative India had started long back during 2018 and 19, but today under Operation Sankalp, India is still trying to rescue its seafarers and oil tankers from Hormuz, coordinated through Indian Navy. But what is happening is that Iran has this one strategic nerve in its hand. Until it opens Hormuz, the whole world will suffer the ramification of the war. But right now, if somebody asks a question that who won the war, we have no clear answer here. Because the war highlights that in modern times, victory doesn't happen with military power. Victory happens with endurance, with strategy, with solidarity of people in a country. And if you make a war prolonged, the enemy will one day eventually become weak. And that's a hope Iran is sticking to. And now a quick question from me to you. Do let me know the answer in the comment box. Okay. The question is that, could you tell me, if the Strait of Hormuz is right at the Persian Gulf in Iran, then which two water bodies does it connect? One I have already mentioned. Do let me know the other name. Which two water bodies does it connect? Yes? Do let me know in the comment box. Such map-based questions are extremely important. And here's the QR code of my Telegram channel. For those who want such similar inputs, PDF for my classes, you can find it right here. A quick reminder, at StudyIQ, we are running one of the big sales of the year. At a very affordable price, you will get batch admissions for 27 and 28 UPSC. And if you use my code, that is code SPLIVE, then further discount, maximum discount. But both batches, 27 and 28, are starting on 26 March. So enroll today, because both of them are giving you not just books, material, note, MCQ, PYQ, but also answer and essay writing practice, one-on-one mentorship, and in one word, a guarantee for success in the UPSC exam. So join today. Thank you.